Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now, before you continue, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you check out other videos that are on this channel, including the playlists. Make sure you check out all the links in the description for this video and for the other videos that are posted for the artist interviews. Make sure that you stay updated. And let's get to 1,000 subscribers, and now you can proceed to the video.
I'm walking on that rainbow to the pot of gold. The young brother always working, hungry for more. Ascension, attention, ascension.
All right, welcome to Unplugged Season 2, Episode 8. I am Dave, the MC, and joining me today, I have the Scotch Whiskies, not Key, KY. There's a difference. I'm sure he'll explain that. I'm here with the Scotch Whiskies ambassador for Kenya, Emmanuel Osinde. Good
What up?
Speak to you, bro. Good to speak to you. Oh, and
Appreciate
before we
it.
continue, please subscribe. Subscribe
Right now.
Subscribe. Don't miss this series, just please. Thank you. But anyway, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm fortunate to be around. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm content. Things are, for many people, are not like that. But I think I can actually stand and say that I'm actually blessed at the moment. I'm very happy as well. Things could have definitely been better, but with how things are going, I'm good. I'm good, man. It's been a couple of months, tricky couple of months for everybody, really. And really, it hasn't been by choice either.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
you know, for us to be around now, till now, and the way things are going, really, we just need to stop and give thanks to the person or the being that we celebrate. I bow down, I kneel down every other day. I'm like, and yeah, thanks. This is not by chance. This is not by chance. This is your doing. So yeah. How about you, my man? It's been forever. This has been a long time coming.
Been a long time coming. Been trying to get you on our podcast, which I'm still hoping we're gonna do down the road. I'm also feeling privileged because I was in a position where I was working like when Rona came, and now it affected like everything. I was fortunate for that. So I'm also thankful because you've said, not a lot of people had it. Not a lot of people had the opportunities and everything that was, like having a salary month to month or like having some form of income. Like this thing has completely derailed everyone's plans. Any plans you had for 2020 derailed completely.
Out the window, for sure.
Out the window. And you have to, adjust yourself. But I'm doing all right, man. So what's your official title? Like, I'm meaning to ask, like, what's the full title?
So the full title is Scotch Whiskies Brand Ambassador for East Africa from Pernod Ricard. So Pernod Ricard is the holding company. So we are home to Jameson, Ballantine's, Chivas, Beefeater, Absolute Vodka, Olmeca Tequila, Malibu Rum, Havana, quite a number, the Glenlivet, Royal Salute, quite a number of brands.
Yeah.
But in the Kenyan market, in the context of the Kenyan market, we are mostly known as the home for Jameson and now most recently Beefeater Pink or Beefeater. So I handle the Scotch whiskies, and the Scotch whiskies portfolio is quite broad. We have Ballantyne's, Shivers, Passport, the Glenlivet, Royal Salute, Abela, and a few other prestige brands like Longmont, Strathyla, Green Sport, Redbreast. Yeah, those are the ones. Monkey 47, which is a gin, a really fantastic gin. And many other brands, like I can't even finish mentioning them. I think globally there are quite a number of brands in the market that we're responsible for. Yeah. But that's the official title. Scotch Whisky's Brand Ambassador East Africa.
All right. How did you get into that? How did you get into becoming a brand ambassador?
How much time do we have?
Give me the shortest version possible that you have. From how you heard about it, or maybe you were introduced to it, to how now you transitioned into like your role. Because from watching your IG stories, like before Rona, you were going, like traveling, like doing a lot.
Yeah. So how it came about? I studied abroad. I studied in Germany, stayed there for about 4.5 years. And when I came back home, literally what was on my mind was that I need to get a job. Because I was working there, kinda. I was working while I was there to some extent. And then I figured if I'm going back home, I'm taking this huge leap of faith that I've left Jobos here in Germany to go home and look for Jobos, because I was so sure by the time I was going to get here, the next day after I land, there's a job opportunity. What? Let me tell you, I saw dust. Proper. Anyway, so in the process of tafuting Jobos here and there.
No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. At me, I saw dust last year when I came back. When I came back, I saw Vumbi. Wow. Yeah, but anyway, continue.
So I came from this school of thought. You know how, our folks and our grandparents would chocha and say, if you studied abroad, when you come back to Kenya, you're getting something immediately, automatically. You don't even need to. Hey, let me tell you. Niliona vumbi. Serious. Anyway, in the process of looking for Jobos opportunities on the internet, I come across this advert, this job posting, and it wasn't too clear about what it was. But I just applied because I was like, what's there to lose?
Yeah.
At a time, Mamuko applying for Jobos that I'm not even qualified for. So, there's a time I applied to be a pilot. Have I ever been to a flying school? I was like, if I get there, I'll know how I'll figure it out.
Yeah. You can always try shooting above your weight and seeing.
Exactly. Shoot above your weight. If you get there, fine, they'll call you out they'll call you bluff, and you might cave, but at least you've gotten somewhere. Yeah. So I see this thing was kind of vague in terms of description and whatnot, but I said I have nothing to lose. Let me apply. Applied for this thing, and I forgot about it completely. Months later, I'd just come out of an interview for, let me tell you how I applied for everything. Back I got an invitation for an interview at a church.
Yeah.
Kenya Methodist Church. And I walked out of that interview feeling like such a letdown, because they had asked me, I'll never forget this question, and I really need to tell you this. So they asked me, so how good are you in languages? I'm like, what languages? I'm good. I speak German, speak English, I speak Swahili, I can speak my mother tongue. They're like, oh, you speak Swahili? Ah, cool. Tell me, name for me all of, was it Jacob's 11 brothers?
Oh, no.
In Swahili. Where?
Oh, no.
Let me tell you, I looked at the guy at the panel, I was like, anyway, if this is the end of the road, tutapatana mbele. Imagine, Missy Dri. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know. Out. The moment I stepped out of that room, I get this call from a number I don't know. I pick it up. Some lady, she says, "Hi, my name is so and so. I work with this agency. We've received your application for this job." I said, "What? When did I apply for this?" She's like, "Yeah, you sent in your application. We received it in February, but things have been thick. Rather, things have been busy, so we didn't really get a chance to go through the interviews at that time. But now we're ready." I'm like, cool. So, where's the interview? And if you don't mind, could you jog my memory on the position? Someone says, this is the position. It's a brand ambassador role for Jameson. I'm like, okay, cool. I went home, did my prep. Next morning, 7 o'clock, Amuko at the offices for the agency. And I apply, go through the first round of interviews, second round of interviews. I was really feeling good about myself at this particular point.
Yeah.
And I got to the final round. And at the final round, we were 5 guys. And I remember, it was 5 passionate individuals, people who are really out to show you that they really want this gig.
Yeah.
And there were 2 positions, but at that time we didn't know there were 2 positions on the line. I personally didn't know because I had interviewed for Jameson strictly, nothing else. So after the interview, me and Muko feeling really confident. I'm like, here, I've gotten the gig, and if I don't get the Jameson one, I'm getting the other one. Let me tell you, 2 weeks down the line, Amuko, like literally, you see any billboard for Jameson, you feel butterflies in your stomach because you haven't gotten any confirmation, no word from these guys.
Yeah.
2 weeks down the line, the guy who eventually got it gives me a call. He's like, "Yo, I just want to let you know that, if I get this gig, you and I are gonna, like, I got your back. Don't even worry when it comes to gigs, when it comes to events, whatever, you name it, I got you." I'm like, "My dude, even if I get it, he's like, "Easy."
Yeah.
3 days later, I'm scrolling on Twitter, and I see on the Jameson official page, "Welcome our new Jameson brand ambassador, Mr. So-and-so." What? I'm like, that's not me. I was so sure it was gonna I was so sure it was gonna be me.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not me. This is 2015. Yani mpaka now, whenever I see Jameson, I'd feel away. Because I'm like, this guys did me dirty. But anyway, at the back of my mind, of course I was bitter because this was it looked like the first real opportunity that I was about to score out of campus when I came back home. And then I stayed out for a while. I went back to school, did a diploma in project management just to pass time. And then when I finished, as the year was turning, as 2016 was coming in, on my birthday, which is in December, on my birthday, December 2016, I'm going to start recording a podcast because I'd been listening to a lot of podcasts at that time. Kina guys from Loudspeaker Networks, kina Brilliant Idiots, kina The Real, kina Taxstone, Combat Jack. Those.
Yeah.
So I said, when I'm here, now that I don't have anything to keep myself occupied and to also just build on this passion I had for speaking and radio and commercials and stuff like that, for me, this would be the first and perfect platform to launch myself to the next thing. And if this next thing doesn't come, it's fine. But I know I'd have sharpened this art form of podcasting and vlogging and blogging. Because at that time, blogging was the in thing.
Yeah,
vlogging.
Podcasts were non-existent actually, or if they were existing, no one had a podcasting.
So. No one had about them at that time. There were very few.
Yeah.
So I recorded, and I used to record on my phone.
Yeah, I remember.
Like I'd go to, yeah, you remember those days, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I'd record on my Simu, put them on SoundCloud. I'm like, all right, guys, skiza what I have. And let me tell you, the day I realized I'd had 10 plays on the first podcast, 10, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10.
Mm.
I was like, dude, I think I got this. I think I've cracked it. I'm confident, I'm recording, giving guys some really unnecessary hot takes. Yani. So down the line, like a month later, I had maxed out my my free uploading.
Yeah, which is what which is what I don't like about SoundCloud. But go on.
Yeah, I hate that about SoundCloud because I think the max is like 6. You can only upload 6 6 episodes or 6.
Yeah, I think it's probably like 6 hours, but yeah.
Yeah, it's about 6 hours. Yeah, they're about.
Mm.
So at that time, I didn't have shrooms. Like, so I really squashed my money when I came back. I had savings from Jobo, from pocket money that I used to be sent for. I ran through buying unnecessary stuff for myself. I mean, they were necessary because I still have some of those things.
Yeah.
But like going out, Amuko, guys are using you to buy drinks for them every other time you're out in the clubs.
So because
you've come back home and you're trying to reconnect with guys,
yeah,
it feels as though you have to assert yourself to that extent for guys to really accept you.
Which is wrong,
and which is very wrong. And I realized this shortly after I had arrived. I was like, this is not the way to go. I'm not just gonna hang out with you because you're like, yo, we haven't seen each other in a while, so we go catch a drink. Then we pick the club. You ordered.
Then you're the one who's paying.
Man.
Yeah.
I said enough is enough. It's not gonna be like that.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a wrong thing to feel like I needed validation and acceptance from my peers at that time. So around that time, I get a call from this lady called Brenda. Brenda works at Classic FM right now. She had her own station called Unverified, and they were just starting out at that time. Her and her.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I did. So they called me up, and I did a gig with them for about 6 months. And I got to a point I was like, "All right, guys, it's been real. I really appreciate you guys. I'll forever be grateful to you guys. But for me now, it's time for me to leave." At that time I was leaving, I didn't really have a plan. So back to the tarmacking, back to the grinding. Got a gig for branding and sijui what. Those guys, those homies played me properly because I was supposed to be earning some certain amount of money, but they didn't even give me a dot of what I was supposed to earn. They gave me my first check came after 2 months.
And
it was 20,000 shillings. 20,000.
After 2 months, bro.
I was supposed to be earning some really good money after those 2 months. I got 20 G's. Oh. I said, you know what? Asanteni sana. I looked at that check. I still have the check somewhere in this house. I never cashed it because they gave it to me kimadharau. Yeah. And me, there's nothing as bad as that. You'd rather not give me money.
Yeah.
So I just cleared the check. Never cashed it. And at that time I quit is when I scored my first voiceover gig. Like things were just working out. Like you close one door, another one just opens. Close another opens. Got my first voiceover gig for Tusker Cider. And at that time it was new in the market. So I recorded a demo months ago and I even forgot about it as well. It was stored in the Voice Bank over there. Shout out to Paxson. Paxson is an OG when it comes to production in Kenya. That man is a legend. So he calls me up. He's like, "Hey, Sasa, there's a job book for you over here. I would just come to the studio." Went to the studio, recorded for a whole day, from morning till 8 p.m. Just recording takes on takes on takes. They have to be sent to South Africa for mastering and do what. Then they hear one word, they're like, "No, we don't like how he said this. Change." A full day from 11 till 8 p.m. Anyway, the payoff was good because the truth may have thought, because it was closer to Christmas, I thought my money would come before Christmas. So I'm planning for things. I'm like, hey, my folks, this Christmas is gonna be special. We're gonna go to Shags. I'll buy for my grandmother this, my folks this. Eh? Paxson just called me. He's like, Osinde, let me just not lie to you. The money won't come now. Don't even think about it. Keep in mind, this is like the week for Chrissy. You've seen all the special offers in all the supermarkets. You and Pangad. It's like, don't even plan for that money. Plan for it. Like, don't even think about. Forget about it. The money will come when it will come. I said, Sawa. Months later, he calls me. By this time, I've gotten a new gig in an advertising agency. At that point, I'm settled. Now I'm feeling like, okay, there's some stability here. And plus, I had really tried to get that advertising gig at the agency. So Jobo comes, first account comes in, Sport Pesa, I'm on fire that time. And just churning out content every other time. Months later, I see this same gig has been re-advertised for Scotch whiskies. I said, what? I think this is it. This is the one. I'm definitely applying again. Applied for the Jobo. Went through the same process. Interviews on interviews. Get to the final round. Final 5 people. Yoko sweating it out. You're actually going back and forth with guys. But this time around, I'm smarter. Because I've summoned the guys. The first time around, I was with a bit of kiherere. Second time around, I'm summing the room, summing the guys who were on the panel with. I'm like, these guys don't even know. These guys don't even know. I got this in the bag. I'm already in my head. I've even signed my contract. I've gone to Ireland, done my training for 5 weeks, come back. That was all in my head. Here, dust like this in the face.
So when did it actually like get to the point where you now finally got the gig, which is, I'm assuming, the third time?
Third time was now 2018. This was a year later, a year after the second time.
Yeah.
And at this point, I needed a different challenge. I was like, I had choked like with my Jobo. The next step was not being given because there was no opportunity for the next step for me. So now there's nothing as bad as plateauing on the same place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it took at a point where I was so comfortable with my job, I didn't feel like I was being challenged anymore. Now it felt like, because I feel so okay with my position and with my role in the company, you feel like you're even dropping balls. Not that you're dropping any, but to you personally, like,
you feel like you're kind of slacking.
Slacking, exactly. I got to a point, I just told my boss, what's that? Let me just go. Quit my job. And on the same day I quit my job, I applied for this one. I said, God, you know what? If this isn't for me, this is the third time. If this isn't for me, then it was never for me in the first place. And I made peace with that even as I was applying for this gig. On my last day of work is when they called me in for the first interview. And this time around, I was like, let me just give it everything I can. Because you know what? Again, I have nothing I'm losing. Second time, I didn't feel the pinch because I still had a job to fall back on. This time around, I was like, let me give it my all. If I don't get it, it's on it's by merit, not because of anything else.
Hmm.
So they called me 2 weeks after the interviews. They're like, hey, Sasa, congratulations, you've gotten the gig. Hey, I tell you, I was screaming from here till I don't know where. I was on my way to see my cousin had just given birth to a beautiful baby girl.
Yeah.
So I was on my way to the hospital. Let me tell you, I'm on a boda. You know how on boda bodas you're just hearing. Those are the only things I had were congratulations, you've gotten the job. I'll send you the contract. I was just there screaming till Nairobi Hospital. Got off. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't want to jinx it at all. I literally told
until you signed the contract.
Until I signed the contract, but I told like 2 people that weekend, because that weekend I said I need to go out. I need to go out and see what's in store, for me as I join this industry.
Yeah.
And I went out and I told like one person, and we were standing outside the club, looking at one of the billboards for one of my brands. And we just stood outside the club for like a good 20 minutes, just staring at this thing. I'm like, yo, we got it. This was all on God. This was God's timing for sure. So that's a very long version of the story. Actually, that's a shorter version of the story.
Yeah, that's a shorter version of it. Okay, so you've been in this for 2 years. 2 years now.
Yeah, close now. Yeah.
Did you know that it was gonna work out like the way it did? Because you've traveled, you've been in other countries, you've umetembea Kenya, what most guys probably will never do, but umetembea Kenya, like working on something that you love and that you're passionate about. Did you know it was gonna work out like that?
To be very honest, no. At the first moment when I joined the company, I didn't know. I knew what to expect, like on the surface. Go out, talk to people about your brands, win new people over, convert new guys, etc., etc. But you get in and you see everything else that is in it for you. Like, it's not as easy as it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, not to say that I expected it to be easy, but I didn't think it was going to be literally a trip every other time. Like, every other experience for me feels like it's a first time, because the people we meet are never going to be the same. Perspectives change, points of view change, consumption mannerisms change. So literally every time I'd meet someone as I'm working, the kind of things you hear and the kind of feedback you get, you're like, what? Anyway, how I view things and how you view things are totally different. And how you view things actually matters a lot more than what it is I have to say to you.
Yeah.
So with all the traveling, with all the different experiences, the different cultures I've had to fortunately interact with through this journey, it's really been eye-opening, to say the least. And I'm very grateful for that, for the opportunities as well that have come along after the job has come in. I'm grateful for the networks that I've, built or I've been included in. It really has been a blessing that you could not predict, unless the things happen as they did. Because man, I can write a book. I'll write a book one day, but it's really, the long and short of it, it's been very eye-opening, and a blessing, to say the least. Yeah.
What would be your dream tasting session, and who would you want it with? Like, if you are told, invite anyone you want in the world for a tasting session, or you're told, go to
Dead or alive?
Person is. Yeah, let's go dead or alive.
Wow. All right. First person would definitely be my dad. My dad and my grandfather. I was never fortunate to see him. Like he passed away when I was still very young. My grandfather passed away when I was still very young, so I never got to see him.
Yeah.
My dad, on the other hand, has never been to any of my tastings. Any. It's been 2 years.
That one you should at some point. Yeah.